While only covering a small fraction of the total gaming market, horror games have some of the biggest impacts on their players. Some captivate us by combining elements such as rich storytelling, adventure, and intriguing mechanics, while others keep us hooked simply by being downright creepy. Here is our list on the top 12 best scary games. Resident Evil 7, Biohazard. This entry in the long-running Resident Evil series takes a first-person perspective as they explore a decrepit mansion filled with horrifying creatures. Players explore a dilapidated Louisiana plantation, uncovering disturbing secrets. The game's tense atmosphere and unnerving audio design immerse players in a horrifying experience. Its return to survival horror roots introduces resource management, puzzles, and combat against grotesque enemies. The Baker family, infected by a bioorganic weapon, relentlessly pursues the player. Resident Evil 7 utilizes VR for heightened immersion. The narrative connects to the series while introducing new characters and mysteries. The game's focus on fear, isolation, and limited resources harks back to the franchise's origins, creating an intense and memorable horror gameplay. Slender Man. Slender, the 8 Pages, is a minimalist horror game focused on collecting notes scattered in a dim forest. Players navigate through darkness, using a flashlight to find the notes while evading Slender Man. The game's simplicity and lack of complex mechanics heighten the feeling of exposure, defenselessness, and tension. Slender Man's sudden appearances contribute to jump scares, and the fear of encountering him makes collecting the notes a disquieting experience. The game's audio design, with ambient sounds and eerie noises, enhances the unsettling atmosphere. As players gather more notes, Slender Man becomes more aggressive. The goal is to collect all 8 pages before being caught. Slender, the 8 Pages stands out for its straightforward gameplay that effectively generates fear and suspense through its eerie setting and the looming threat of Slender Man. Alien Isolation. Based on the iconic film franchise, Alien Isolation offers a suspenseful and tense gameplay experience as players must outsmart a relentless and deadly xenomorph. Players assume the role of Amanda Ripley, searching for her missing mother aboard a dilapidated space station. The game's atmosphere is tense, immersing players in a constant sense of danger. The titular alien creature is a dynamic threat, driven by advanced AI that adapts to the player's actions. Players must utilize stealth, crafting, and resource management to survive and progress. The station's retro-futuristic design adds to the unsettling ambiance. The game emphasizes vulnerability, as combat is largely ineffective against the alien. Instead, players must outsmart and evade the creature while solving puzzles and navigating a meticulously crafted environment. The narrative captures the essence of the Alien franchise, with a focus on isolation, dread, and the unknown. The title has been praised for its faithful representation of the franchise's horror elements, providing a challenging and fear-inducing experience. Playable Teaser. Though not a full game, PT is a short horror demo that created significant buzz with its atmospheric and mind-bending gameplay, leaving players deeply unsettled. Playable Teaser is a psychological horror demo released in 2014, developed by Kojima Productions and directed by Hideo Kojima in collaboration with filmmaker Guillermo del Toro. Initially presented as a mysterious interactive experience, it was later revealed to be a preview for the cancelled Silent Hills game, which would have been a reboot of the iconic horror series. Set within a looping corridor of a haunted house, players uncover a chilling narrative through eerie environments and unsettling audio cues. The demo cleverly blends atmospheric horror with intricate puzzles, creating a sense of dread and unease. Its intricate design and uncanny atmosphere generated significant anticipation among players. Despite its cancellation, PT remains a notable testament to the power of interactive horror, leaving a lasting impact on the gaming community and becoming a cult classic in its own right. Outlast. Set in an asylum, Outlast immerses players in a found footage-style horror experience where they must navigate through the dark corridors, avoiding grotesque and aggressive enemies. As a first-person survival horror game, players portray investigative journalist Miles Upshur, exploring a dilapidated psychiatric hospital. Armed only with a camera, they uncover disturbing secrets and evade deranged patients. The game's found footage style enhances immersion, while darkness and tension create an atmosphere of constant peril. Players are defenseless, required to run and hide to survive. The title is lauded for its intense psychological horror, chilling sound design, and relentless pursuit gameplay, offering a nerve-wracking experience that immerses players in a nightmarish world of terror. F.E.A.R. delivering a mix of supernatural horror and intense first-person shooting with unsettling encounters against a terrifying little girl named Alma. You play as a member of the 1st Encounter Assault Recon, an elite group in the US Army that has been tasked with investigating supernatural phenomena. The developers wanted the player to feel like the hero in an action movie, so they created a semi-destructible environment, a highly detailed particle system, and a flex time mechanic, which allows players to slow down time. They also utilized a unique AI which allowed the NPCs to respond to what the player is doing, resulting in the NPCs working in a team and being able to perform flanking maneuvers, laying down suppressive fire, and even being able to retreat when needed. Critics loved this unique AI, but they also praised the game for its graphics, atmosphere, sound design, music, and combat mechanics. Following the success of F.E.A.R, a second and later third installment of the game was created, both which deserve to be mentioned on our list. Amnesia, The Dark Descent. Known for its intense atmosphere and inducing inner fear, Amnesia, The Dark Descent puts players in a first-person perspective with no weapons, emphasizing vulnerability and fear. Players navigate the eerie Brennenburg Castle as Daniel, who suffers from amnesia. Armed with limited resources and a lantern, players unravel the mystery of Daniel's past while avoiding terrifying supernatural forces. The game focuses on stealth, puzzle solving, and atmospheric storytelling, submerging players into a world of fear and uncertainty. The absence of combat heightens vulnerability, creating an intense, mentally terrifying experience. The game is praised for its immersive gameplay, disturbing narrative, and ability to evoke fear through minimalistic design and the power of the unknown. Eternal Darkness, Sanity's Requiem. This psychological horror game messes with players' perceptions by introducing sanity effects, creating a sense of unease and blurring the lines between reality and fiction. Players explore different time periods, battling supernatural forces with a variety of weapons. The unique sanity meter affects the character's perception of reality, leading to unsettling visual and audio effects. The game is known for its mind-bending narrative, engaging puzzles, and eerie atmosphere, creating a gripping experience for players seeking a distinct blend of horror and adventure. Combat employs simple targeting, with enemies exhibiting varied behaviors and appearances. The story shifts between chapters and mansion exploration, with 12 characters from different eras. Choices influence the plot's direction and enemy encounters. Magic spells, aligned and combined using runes, aid combat and puzzles. The standout feature is sanity effects. The declining meter leads to unsettling environmental changes, including disorienting camera angles, eerie noises, and even surreal, reality-bending occurrences. Alan Wake. Players control a novelist named Alan who is facing writer's block. The game's world is plagued by a consuming darkness that transforms people and objects into hostile entities called the Taken. These shadowy foes wield various weapons and attack Alan relentlessly. Combat revolves around exploiting light to remove the darkness shielding the Taken, making them vulnerable to firearms. Flashlights, guns, and light-based tools are essential for survival. Alan can use environmental light sources, like searchlights, to fight off waves of enemies. Safe zones, marked by streetlights, offer protection and health regeneration. Driving vehicles is also a strategic option, letting players mow down the Taken or use headlights to defeat them. The game's mechanics emphasize light as both a weapon and refuge in the struggle against supernatural threats. Alan Wake features thrilling horror gameplay, using light as a weapon against shadowy enemies, creating an intriguing yet tense experience. Alan Wake 2 is set to release on the 27th of October 2023, and we cannot wait to get our hands on it. Resident Evil 2. A remake of the classic survival horror game, Resident Evil 2 offers modern graphics, atmospheric gameplay, and relentless tension as players explore the zombie-infested Raccoon City. You get to choose between two characters, namely Leon S. Kennedy or Claire Redfield. The character you choose to play affects which weapons and items you'll be able to use, the areas in which you play, as well as the subplot and the supporting protagonist, allowing you to replay the game from a different perspective. Along with Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 1, 3, and 4 also received remakes, each being brilliant in their own right, but when it comes to the scariest games of all time, Resident Evil 2 simply stands out above the rest. Dead Space. A survival horror set in a sci-fi universe, players navigate a derelict spaceship as engineer Isaac Clarke, battling deadly alien creatures called necromorphs. Strategic dismemberment is key to survival, as players aim to sever enemy limbs. Limited ammo and resources enhance the sense of vulnerability. The game's environment is claustrophobic, emphasizing isolation and dread. Cutscenes are minimal, immersing players in the chilling narrative. I distinctly remember playing this as a kid and nearly jumping out of my skin every time one of those creepy crawlies would awaken when you get close to them. You see the body, you know what's going to happen, but you still get a fright every single time. Following the success of Dead Space, a second and later third installment of the game was created, continuing the story of Isaac Clarke and ultimately ending the necromorph threat. In 2023, EA released a remake of the original 2008 Dead Space, developed by the same team who worked on the previous titles with the aim of breathing new life into the beloved franchise. Silent Hill 2. Regarded as a masterpiece of horror, Silent Hill 2 combines psychological terror with a haunting atmosphere and a deeply unsettling storyline. The game follows James Sunderland searching for his deceased wife in a mysterious town. Atmospheric and terror-filled, players encounter disturbing creatures, navigating spooky locales and solving puzzles. The game thrives on tension and exploration, delivering a haunting experience through its ambient sound and eerie visuals. Emotions and themes play a significant role, as characters confront their pasts and inner demons. Silent Hill 2 is acclaimed for its intricate narrative, symbolic storytelling, and winding character development, making it a seminal title in the survival horror genre. Honorable mention: Phasmophobia. Phasmophobia is a puzzle horror game developed by Kinetic Games, wherein players investigate haunted locations, trying to collect combinations of evidence to identify the type of ghost haunting the area. The early access version was released in September 2020 on Steam to critical acclaim, and since then, the game has been updated from a glitchy, simple concept with limited amounts of ghosts, to a masterpiece of horror with several types of ghost hunting equipment, strategies, and evidence types. It's important to mention that it's multiplayer, as none of the other games on this list are, so recruit 3 of your bravest ghost hunter friends and get ready to hear them scream. The game features diverse locations like houses, an asylum, and a prison, with various ghost types, each with unique behaviors and clues. Players have a sanity bar that decreases during gameplay when your character is in darkness, or witnesses ghost interactions. By far the worst part of this game is, the ghost listens to your microphone, so any type of communication between teammates must be tactical and used sparingly. Hunts, where the players are targeted by the usually passive ghost, are when the nightmares begin, as the game's audio changes and the door locks itself, trapping you with a frenzied ghost. The game's success rose due to popular streamers playing it, and if you haven't tried it, we highly recommend it. If not for the jump scares yourself, then at least to reveal which of your friends screams the loudest. Horror games deliver a memorable and adrenaline-pumping journey that lingers long after the screen goes dark. So whether you're a seasoned horror enthusiast or a curious newcomer, these virtual nightmares are waiting to be explored, one jump scare at a time. Don't forget to cross your T's and square your I's.